not record? Okay. All right, everyone. Hello, hello, and welcome to our July 2019 Habit Building Accountability Group. I'm really excited that you all are here or watching the recording. This is something that I really kind of pulled together super last minute. I shared with a couple of people that I didn't even really kind of pull some leaders together to try and put this into something really formal because they kind of came up with it just last minute, but I felt like it was really good timing with the amount of time that we have going into convention to really start to lay down a really, really solid foundation for ourselves. Again, with kind of the idea that we're preparing for convention and post-convention, but this is by no means something that you need to be going to convention to benefit from. And so I hope that you all will find the time to be valuable. I, to be quite honest, kind of am just winging this a little bit. Like, I haven't seen anything like this done by coaches before, but I think that what I have in my mind's eye as it plays out over the next 4 weeks, I'm really hoping will be beneficial. I never want to take away from the trainings that are offered by the company or by the Tinters or by the Rennas. We have so many opportunities to connect in those ways and to learn and to grow. And so I don't want people to have to decide between what I'm offering and that. So this is a little bit additional once in a while when I think that there's something important for our group. I want to offer it. And I think that this is really important, what we're going to go through. So before I hit record, I shared that I really want this to be like an interactive, kind of casual time. I want us to take something away from it, but I also want it to be fun and not super formal. I do have everyone on mute, so if you hop on, just go ahead and mute yourself. But in a few minutes, after I kind of give you guys like the lay of the land for what I have in mind and what we'll be doing, I'm going to ask a couple like discussion questions and open it up, and then we'll try to be really, really conscious of time and get us done in, I guess now I have like 20, just under 25 minutes. So here we go. So, all right, I am going to see if I can figure out how to share my screen. That's the other thing. Zoom is not always super easy to navigate. And so let me see if I can figure this out. I put some slides together, not to be formal, but just because I'm really visual. And if I can't figure out how to share them, I'll just tell them to you. So give me 1 second. I'm not seeing, oh yeah, here we go. Share screen's right at the bottom, the big green button. Okay. So this is what I want to share. Let's see if this works. Okay. Can you guys all see that? Somebody give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can see it. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jody. All right, here we go. Thank you for your patience as I figure out Zoom. All right, July Habit Building and Accountability mini session. Here we go. Okay, so I just want to kind of, like I said, walk you through the framework foundation of what I had in mind and what I hope we can accomplish. So everyone knows that we do have some clear goals, and hopefully we can work towards those over the next couple of weeks. So first off, what is our purpose? The idea that I had is let's build in some habits that will serve us and that we can easily maintain in the midst of life happening, because we all are busy. Regardless of what kind of your commitment level is with your coaching practice, and regardless of what else you have going on outside of coaching, we all have busy lives. And sometimes life can spike up in even crazier ways where, you know, like I'm going to pick on Angela, but she's moving this month. So crazy, crazy, crazy. And we all have different things that happen. And my hope is that we can take this time to just, like Dr. A teaches us, one healthy habit at a time, just build in some really simple actions that are thought out in terms of stopping and thinking about where we're at and where we want to be, so that we're being wise in deciding what we want to focus on, something that is going to help us move forward, but also that is really simple and that can, you know, link up with something we're already doing, so that we can ultimately have these things be, we spend 2 to 5 minutes a day on them, but we just practice them and they become consistent and they become habit. And so they would, serve us for whether we have craziness happening or whether life has slowed down and we have more time to pour into our coaching. If you can do, one of something when you're busy, and you can do 10 of it when you're not super busy. So the idea is just that we carve out the time. I want to set us up for success coming out of convention, because if you have not attended convention before, let me just tell you, you're in for a treat. And if you have attended convention before, you know that when you leave there, you're super excited. You're really fired up to make a big impact, because you start to really deeply understand the level of offering that we have and the way that we can serve people in just a new way. When you hear Dr. A speak, when you see the stories that are shared, when you start to really get up close and personal with our mission, you will really want to go out and make an impact when you come home. So let's set ourselves up in structure for that beforehand. And then obviously we want to grow in our consistency and results for our health and for the impact that we're making with our business. So what are our goals over the next 4 weeks? So first off, each of the 4 weeks, we're going to have kind of a different topic that we'll talk through a little bit in our Monday session. And then throughout the rest of the week, your job is to dive into that area of focus. Your accountability partner is going to be there for you to just kind of check in, like, how are you doing? Did you identify your thing? And where is it going into your day? And have you been doing it every day? That sort of thing. One of the recommendations I have is that I would consider, if you can even spend 10 to 15 minutes on the action steps right after this Zoom time, you might best set yourself up for kind of success in getting the most out of the week, because week 2 will build on week 1 in terms of we'll move on to another habit. But we're going to take 4 areas of focus and identify what's our own personal area of opportunity. And then we're just going to dig into that. And like I said, not meant to be a huge time commitment, meant to be 10 to 15 minutes of thoughtful reflection and identifying where you want to grow, and then a small amount of time every day consistently taking action. So the areas we're going to cover are personal health, our systems for coaching. So next week is really going to be a systems check. And then connecting with people, connections. So we're going to talk about like our systematic approach to connecting with people, which is the 3x3x3. And then we'll talk about how we're authentically connecting with people, because both are important. And I think we want to have focus on both areas. So we'll identify how and when we build the habits, and then we'll execute. I want to define results for us before we, kind of dive into this. Results, yes, we want business growth results, and yes, we want tangible health results. But for the purposes of kind of what we're getting at here, I want you to think about results in terms of, did you do the action? When we're growing our businesses or just working towards goals, it can be really easy to have our mindset on what the end goal is. So for instance, and I'm so excited about the ILAT 2020 qualifications that were just announced, and hopefully you are too, because it's so doable. Every single person on my team can do this trip. I can't believe how doable it is. And that's not to say that everyone chooses to go for it, but I think if you have that desire to grow your business and to go on a free trip, it's completely doable, working with your mentor, working within the system, all that stuff. That's a separate Zoom. But for our purposes, like, it can be easy to just get really, really focused on the trip. Well, the trip will come as we do the consistent steps. And so for us right now, I think it would be good for us to measure results as, did I consistently take the action, and did my action grow, and did my commitment grow? And that would be the good result that we're looking for. And the business growth will come from the decision to commit to the action. So measure your action and your results will come. Okay, so I wanted to chat really quick about consistency, and then I'm going to open it up for a couple of questions. So first off, what is consistency? Because I, again, am like such a visual person, so sometimes I even will want to look up words, how they're defined in the dictionary, because it just kind of helps me wrap my mind around it. So I found consistent and consistency. Consistency, most of the definitions were like about like consistency of like a food or like that type of consistency. So I flipped over to consistent, and these are some of the things that stood out for me. Always acting or behaving in the same way, of the same quality, especially meaning it's good each time. My computer is saying my connection is unstable. So if I freeze or something, you can't hear me, just put it in the chat. Continuing to happen or develop in the same way. And then one of the definitions of consistency that I liked was degree of firmness. So I'll come back to that, but with consistent, obviously we know what this word means, but I think, taking a minute to just think through, like, what is it that we're trying to accomplish by being consistent? Why does it matter? And what about consistency do we want to be focused on? And so I think some of the things throughout the next month and beyond, we're going to be meeting for a month, but obviously these are things that we want to instill for going forward forever. But, be thinking about, am I doing this the same way every time? Is it the same quality every time? Is it continuing to happen over time? Am I really truly doing it over time? And, we're not about perfection. So don't stress if you miss a day. That's not the point. But over time, are you improving with your quality and with your commitment to whatever it is that you're trying to do? The thing I liked about that degree of firmness definition is that I think that, when you think about being consistent in something, your degree of firmness, again, it might have been talking about like materials, but I think that we can use that degree of firmness here because how firm is your decision to be consistent? And I think that how firm we are in our choice to carry something out consistently over time really reflects how firm we are in our commitment. And I would say all of the commitments that we'll be making in these 4 weeks are going to be around investments in ourselves. And so one of the things that I've really tried to work on as I've come into coaching, what I've really focused a lot on, and I'm in like the very baby beginning stages of growth in, but it's really truly having my actions align with my priorities. So having my priorities actually be my priorities. When you love what you do, like I do, it's easy to want to do it all the time. And I can't do this all the time. I need to spend time with my kids. I need to, do lots of other things, right? But it's like I love certain things and I want to do them more than I want to do other certain things. But, identifying where the gaps are and how committed I am to what I state my priorities to be, what I know my priorities to be, but bringing some awareness to that, because ultimately that, decision to commit to those priorities is an investment in myself and what's important to me. And so I think if we can take some time during this month to identify, like, where do we have a gap in our degree of firmness with our commitment, and where can we increase our consistency in an area that we have said and stated is really important to us. But let's get our actions aligned with that. So that was kind of my thought there. All right, so why does it matter? Consistency plus time equals success. And if you have coached for more than a month, you'll have heard this said. And if you've coached more than a month, you'll have seen it played out in someone in people's businesses all around you. So the thing that's so awesome about what we get to do is that, like I said earlier, we have this amazing offering for people that really transforms their lives. And as we just really stay with it over time, we get to see lots of lives impacted, and we get to reach really, really fun goals like going on a cruise. So I'm super excited that we are starting this today, having just even come off of hearing about the qualifications for whatever trip we'll be going on next year, and we'll find out at convention. But just remember that we put these things down into our schedules, we put them as rocks, and then we just let time do its thing. And I would also add personal growth in there equals success. But again, that's another Zoom. So for now, consistency plus time equals success. So, okay, action steps. So I'm going to stop share here. And hello, I get to see all your faces again. All right. So I'm going to go into there's a bug on my desk. I'm sorry. I have to kill it because it's grossing me out. I keep getting distracted by it. It was a little tiny, but I got to kill it. Okay. All right. So this week we are going to really focus in on our personal health. And if you've coached more than a day, you know and have heard that one of the most important aspects of our business is us, and our personal health leads the bug is not dead. Sorry, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I'm done. The bug is dead, I think. Our personal health paves the path for us. So I just wanted to spend a minute or two talking about, because how much do we have? We have 10 minutes. So talking about why is leading with our personal health so important? Why does it matter? And why does it make a difference for us in our business? And then the second question is, what does consistency in health mean for you? So we can chat for a few minutes, and then I'll go to the action steps. I'll put the action steps in our little group message too. And I will tonight, or maybe tomorrow morning first thing, but I will assign accountability partners in there so that you guys can start. I'm going to have one too, so we can start connecting this week. But so that's where we're going in the next 10 minutes. So discussion questions again, and just like pull yourself off of mute and share. I really want to hear what your thoughts are because I want to stop talking and I want to hear you. Okay, discussion questions. Why does leading with personal health matter and make all of the difference for our health, for the health of our business? And then what does consistency in health mean for you? So does anyone have anything they would be willing to share on either of those questions? And I might call on you if you don't share. So I see there's something in the chat, so we'll check this out. Just a hello, just a greeting. All right, guys. Why does our personal health make such a big difference in leading with our personal health and putting it as a priority? Why does it make such a big difference in building our businesses and making an impact?
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Considering we're health coaches, right? And part of our job is to be vulnerable with our clients. I know everybody that I link arms with in this coaching community are real, transparent, authentic people. And so if we're not doing our own action steps each day towards health, we feel kind of like frauds, right? Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean we're perfect by any means, but to be on that positive trajectory towards health is super important. And if you've been coaching for longer than a month or even a week, you will realize those times in your the seasons you go through when you're not able to be consistent with your own health. It's very, very hard to, like Carrie says, pour into someone else. If your cup is empty, it's very hard to pour in other people, whether it's physical health or mental health. It's tough. It's doable. And sometimes we have weeks where our consistency lags because something happens. You move or there's big things that happen, but it's about getting right back on track when you can, right? Like we teach our clients with the 5-in-1. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Sarah.
There, I talked. I broke the ice. Now someone else.
Right. Somebody else talk.
I think for me, it comes down to credibility too. I feel like sort of like going to a marriage counselor who's not married or something, which I'm sure that's possible, that they can have wisdom and be helpful. But there's something about it that I feel like would just hold back in terms of being coachable. So if we're not living it out, then it's just our credibility is lacking, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree, Stephanie. That's really good too. Which is kind of daunting too, right? Because I think that holds people back from wanting to coach because they feel like they have to kind of have it figured out, and couldn't be farther from the truth. I don't think all of you are in this group because it's an older team page that we don't use anymore, but there's somebody who shared in there, it was 2 years ago, he had lost 150 pounds as was on stage because he had like I don't know, there was some sort of competition or something that he had won, and well, he's gained his weight back, and he's a coach, and he hasn't even bought a ticket for, I think he finally did yesterday, buy a ticket for Orlando, because he just felt so bad that he gained all his weight back, but he had life happen, and you know what, it happens. And so I think it's tough, because we do want to put our personal health first and be showing and demonstrating, leading from the front in that way. But it also doesn't have to be about perfection. And I think that, to Sarah's point about being authentic, that, we are all on a journey. And so I think, it is really important for us to have our personal health first, but we'll come back to this in week 4, but also being real, that we're real people too. And I think that's part of the beauty of what we get to do, is that we can just be who we are, and we can still offer a lot of value, whether we're that experienced, not experienced with that. I'm thinking about Stephanie, your marriage counselor analogy, whether we're that person that knows everything and looks the part too. We don't have to be that person, because this community is full of really authentic people. I'm talking again. So Angela.
Well, I was just going to say, I think so often when I think about my own health journey and being a good example, not only for my family, but for my clients and for other people around me, I always think of that as what I'm eating or drinking. And really what I've kind of realized in the last few weeks is I need to focus more on, or I need to encompass my health as the way I'm presenting myself, not only in obviously what I'm consuming, but also in my daily activities, in my mental health, in the fact that I slept in and I felt great about it. I skipped my workout, but I got the sleep I needed and I took care of myself, and that's okay. That's really, really great. Mm-hmm. And so I think that so often we put, because that is the first step of so many people's health, is to get to a healthy weight, and it's about nutrition. But I think it's it's limiting if you think about it only in that way. And so it's important for us as coaches to really demonstrate that on so many different levels, that the health of it, our overall well-being. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. And I think that's what sets us apart too from so much of what else is out there, is that we're not a quick fix, number one, but then we're also not just about weight loss. We're about that total transformation, even from the inside out. So anyone else? I would love to hear. The other question was about, what does consistency in health really mean in action, or look like in action? I mean, obviously with 5-in-1, we can say that is pretty obvious in a lot of ways what consistency is, but what does self-care consistency look like? Or what are these consistency in some of these other areas, or just in general? What does that mean? So if anyone has thoughts on that too, I'd love to hear. And I don't know if you guys have the same view as me, but I'm just cracking up. Karen Scott, your profile picture is so funny. Every time I look at it, I'm laughing. Somebody's giving her bunny ears. It's so cute. Who else has thoughts on health, leading with health, consistency in health?
I really loved what Angela said, and I definitely feel the same way about it. Starting with the Nursing Moms Plan, I felt like I wasn't really leading in my health yet, because it was slow and consistent, but all of my clients were on 5-in-1, and I really felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't in the same place. I hadn't experienced fat burn, and I was trying to explain what that meant to them. And once I was able to go to 5-in-1 and do it myself, I really felt so much more confident, and I was a better coach, and just being able to lead by example, but also having that knowledge base where it's a really good balance. And it really made me focus more on the whole picture of getting my mental health in order, along with my body, making sure you get that rest, all of those things. All of that, how you feel in your body, really spills over into all areas of my life. And now that I'm feeling better, I'm such a better coach. And so that was a really big learning for me.
That's awesome, Alina. You did. I mean, and I love hearing that, but you also did some pretty incredible work even before you were on 5-1 while you were on Nursing Moms. So definitely give yourself credit. You were a fantastic, I mean, seriously, there's a lot of people that can't follow that Nursing Moms plan. And you did awesome.
Coaches.
What's that? Including coaches?
I said including coaches.
Yeah.
One other thing too, when I think of the word consistent, I was just reading in Dr. A's new Habits of Health 2.0 today, the chapter on habits specifically. And I have a really hard time being consistent, thus a really difficult time creating new habits. And I would love if working through these next 4 weeks and developing some of this consistency with my health and with my systems, with my client, with my coaching and my coaches and connecting on Facebook, if that just became kind of a habit. And a habit is something you do almost without thinking. You know, I'm almost there with my water. It's taken 2 years. I'm almost there with my water. But consistency creates those habits, and that's what we're coaching every single day. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that idea of it's so automatic, it's so habitual, you don't even think about it. And yeah, that's such a good way to put it. I wish I had even just like led with, I mean, that's what this, I hope, will be about for us, you know. And again, you'll get out of it what you put into it. And if you can't, if you're at a point where you can only follow along and listen, that's okay. But I do encourage you to kind of do, like I said, the pretty simple action steps. Were you going to say something, Sarah?
Yeah, I was going to say, Dr. A was saying that research shows, you know, we oftentimes will hear that habits are made. What do you guys hear for numbers? Like, I feel like I've heard anywhere from 21 days to 3 months. The average is, I think it's 66 days of consistency. So even us doing this for 4 weeks, you almost need to triple that in order for this consistency to really take hold. But it's a good start.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I'm glad you brought up the Habits of Health 2.0 also, because I just want to touch on this really quick. And then we'll go to action steps unless anyone else has something they're like dying to share. But when I was kind of trying to formulate this group, initially I had thought it was going to be, let's go. I mean, we can't go through the whole Habits of Health 2.0 in 4 weeks, but like, let's start working through the elements together. And ended up kind of going a different direction. But I do want to encourage everyone, if you haven't started, I have my book down there, but if you haven't ordered it, for sure order it. If you've ordered it but you haven't started it, I would encourage you to just start working through the Life Book, because very soon, I don't know if it'll be right after convention. I mean, they haven't told us yet when it's coming out to clients, but it'll be coming out to clients really soon. And I just think that you'll all feel better coaching it if you've had a little experience with it. And it's amazing. It's so good. So you'll love it, but it's meant to go over a year. So yeah, totally worth double the cost. It's meant to take you a year to go through. So don't rush through it, but at least be familiar with it and like a month ahead of your clients. I think that you'll have a better time coaching it if you are. So does anybody have anything else you really want to share about, health, consistency in health, habits of health? Okay.
I guess consistency for me has meant, when you have smaller kids and a lot of your time isn't your own, consistency for me has meant never giving up. It's meaning, okay, I'm not going to get down on myself if I miss 2 days. That means like when I do have time, it's focused and it's, how much time can I do, or can I make that time up, and really setting myself a schedule of, I'm going to be super consistent Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Those are my work nights. I work until my goals are done. Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, I go to bed, and I go to bed at 10 o'clock no matter what I'm doing. Like consistency as far as I'm taking care of myself, but I'm also not beating myself up if I'm not where I want to be, because as long as I'm not giving up, I'm still consistent. So I guess that's what I've learned.
That's super powerful. And what's that?
I said over the last 2 years of coaching almost. Oh my gosh.
Oh girl, it's a journey. I mean, like I said, we are all in the journey. And just sidebar, you need to make a Facebook Live out of what you just shared, because that was really valuable. People are nodding. Yeah, it was really good. All right, guys, let me just check if there's anything in the chat. Nope, just props for Alina. I'm going to share the picture of the action steps here, and then I'll just read them off to you, and then we'll be done. And I'll put this in the thing right away so that, oh my goodness, this Zoom thing. Just thank you for being my guinea pigs here. Sorry. Okay. Now, there we go. Okay. All right. Action steps, personal health. First, choose the macro habit that you have been or need to be contending for. So the 6 macro habits are weight management, eating and hydration, motion, sleep, mind, surroundings. I guess it might be I don't know what the habits are for surroundings. I haven't gotten that far in the life book yet. But if you feel like that is something you want to dig into, that would be awesome. I was thinking it might be hard to find habits, but if it's a habit of health, there's a way to find a habit. So pick your macro habit. Within that habit, and by the way, you might have a micro habit in mind, and that's fine, because you might pick a macro habit and you probably will need to narrow it down to something real specific, because the idea isn't, say you were not on program and you picked weight management. The idea wouldn't be start 5 in 1. The idea is something that's small and doable, and link it up, and maybe we'll talk more about this next week, but link it up with something you're already doing. You're eating 6 times a day. Do you want to, I don't know, have an emotion? Do you want to stand for 5 minutes every time you eat? That sort of thing. Okay, so choose your macro habit. Within the macro habit, identify what some of your obstacles, whether they're real or perceived, have been, and how can you turn that obstacle into the path? So one of our transformational leadership principles is we embrace growth. We seek growth. We embrace the obstacle as the way. And that just means that when we come to an obstacle, instead of seeing it as something that is going to slow us down or stop us, we see it as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to flip a script. If, like Alina said, my kids, I've got a lot going on. I don't always get the best sleep. She could view that as an obstacle and be like, I can't do this. I can't health coach. I've got kids. I don't ever sleep. But instead of seeing that as an obstacle, she's seen it as the pathway. Okay, what can I do within this reality to get to where I want to be? So figure out what the obstacle has been, and then decide when you're going to commit. What did I say? Decide what you will commit to bring to consistency every day in your schedule, and go. So I would love it if you, let me just stop this. If as you identify your habit or your whatever, share, use the group message, be fun to have that be interactive as well. And like I said, lean on your accountability partner and all of those things. So we'll be done. I'm sorry we went a little bit over. I'm going to really do my best to keep to 30. Does anyone have any questions or anything that they want to add before we wrap up? No. All right. I am going to stop recording.